Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to another YouTube trading recap video with Justin Low Stocks. So today I traded two different stocks. The market was a little quiet today except for AWX. It got absolutely crushed. It was up at $35 just before market open, and then I think it ended up closing around $13, so ended up having a massive drop today. A lot of people would have lost money, which is unfortunate. However, my trades did well. Finished the day up $160, which isn't too bad. It's sort of been my average for the last month or so. The first stock I traded was SSLJ. So this one it was a second green day. First green day spiked, massive volume compared to normal. I'll make this window a little bit bigger. Yeah, spiked. The big price action, a lot of volume, and then just this second day continuation. Now a lot of the time with these sort of stocks you'll have, because around here it had a big gap down and it's come down a lot just in a short period of time. Normally once you get above the sort of resistance level like there, you normally ramp up in price back to sort of where these resistance levels are. It's called normally a gap fill. Sometimes it won't even have the candle here. It'll just legit close one day here and then open the next day here if it's got like bad earnings news or something like that. However, this one just opened high and fell in the one day. But yeah, so this is sort of a set up for a gap fill, especially if it went over the highs of this resistance line and the previous day, which is the first green day's high of day. If it got above that, you're looking for it to run. So that's daily candle outlook. We'll go to the minute candles so we get a more in-depth idea of why I took the trade. So we'll come back to market open at 9:30 in American time. So leading up to market open, we had this nice clear resistance line around the 220 area. Bounced, hit there, did this sort of U-shape, failed to break out pre-market, and it was sort of hovering around this area. Had a bit of a dip back down to these these support levels. So, and then when the market was just about to open, it was starting to ramp back up to the main resistance level I had pre-market. So as soon as market opened, which is this first big green candle here, it started spiking up, and I was looking to get in as soon as I could because it already broke pre-market highs. I ended up getting filled around 234, and I randomly set my stop around 260 because I was risking about 20 to 30 cents, coming back down toward below these support and resistance levels. If it cracked below that, the 210, I was looking to sell. So if you're risking 20-30 cents, you want to at least be making 20-30 cents. And 260s, it is not a perfect round number like 250, but it's not 257, it's just 260. I set my stop for, or my profit taker I should say, and basically as soon as I bought it, I set my sell for up there, and within a minute it just spiked straight up perfectly to my exit point, and I made a nice 12% there, which is a great return. It was a shame I just didn't take more size. I only took 300 shares, so only $600, but that $600 made me about maybe about $60, so it's not a bad return at all. So yeah, that was my first trade. Then the second trade, because I had the big green candle, and then it was followed up by this doji candle, which is where you got a little bit of color in the middle, you got a long wick at the top of the candle and a long wick at the bottom of the candle. However, when it was starting to come down below the highs, so the high was 264, and then later it got 269. Well, it dropped all the way back to 245. Took a big dip back down, and I was looking to buy that dip, looking for it to turn back around and test the highs. It didn't happen, however. It continued to fall, and I had to stop out down here where as soon as it broke the price of what it opened at, which is known as a green to red move. So it opened up here, it's green like up on the day, and then once it goes back down on the day, it's known as a green to red move, because now from that point it was red on the day. So I sold when I went green to red, and then that was the first few trades for the first 10 or so minutes, and then about half an hour later I saw this big red candle. I was just watching it on the side, saw this big red candle. In 1 minute it went from 225 down to 205, which is a 10% drop in 1 minute. And it also had a big drop back here, but it held this support at below $2 very well. So I was looking to buy, and I bought right at 205, and I was only looking for a quick bounce, because you never know, if it broke this 205, 204 level, it could have really fell quick and you would have lost money. So I was only looking for that 5-10 cents just to pull me up that little bit more on the day, which it worked out well. Could have gotten a little bit more out of it, but still pretty happy with the result. So that was the first stock I traded, and the other stock I traded was MYND. So we'll go back to this daily for you. I'm trying it out a little bit different. The set out might be a little bit easier to understand, because this is how I trade this setup here. So I've got the daily candles, 1 week time frame, 15 minutes represents each candle's price movement, and then the 1 minute I have them all lined up. It's all the same stock, so you sort of get a long-term idea as well as a short-term idea. But yeah, so on the dailies of this stock, if it loads, so it's been a downtrending chart with a few bounces. As you can see, between April and June it had a solid recovery from $1 up to $4. It's come back down, but again, what do we have that we always note? A massive unprecedented volume day, which is here. 15 million shares, has not been seen in the last year. So when you have volume like that, obviously there's going to be a lot of buyers, which will end up leading to the price going up, because the demand is outweighing the supply. But yeah, so big volume, overall a downtrending chart. We'll have a look at the 1 minute candles to show why I entered this trade. Let's come back here. I also did a little bit of a Instagram story on this to sort of have my input on what I think this stock's going to do at the time. I did say around here that I was expecting it to uptrend until it hit this higher day level and then turn back around and start heading back down, which it did a little bit. Went from 250 back to 225, which is a 10% drop, but then it ended up breaking the high of the day, and didn't really do much after that, to be honest. Like, normally when it breaks a higher day, still within the first hour or so of market being open, it normally will ramp most of the day, but this one didn't. It sort of broke and then it just hovered around here for a bit and then started doing a slow decline. Anyhow, so my trades was in here. So again, I was looking at this stock because it was a low float, which means there's not much supply of the stock. So if you get a lot of demand, which is in turn a lot of volume, it'll drive the stock price up a lot quicker than a higher float stock would, because there is more supply of the stock. So this was only hovering around for the first few minutes, and then once it broke this level, it was on. It just started ripping up. Once it broke the $2 area, I was like, oh, this is pretty good. But I was waiting for a little bit of a pullback, which it had here. So it came up, pulled back down, then I was waiting for a little bit of strength that I could see in level 2, which shows the bid and the ask and the bid at the same time. And I was waiting to see the bid start increasing, which it was, and in turn you start seeing this candle starting to form, and I bought in here. So it went up, fell back down to the bottom of this green candle, and then started surging back up, and that's where I bought, because it was showing big volume still, and it was showing a lot of momentum. So I bought in there at around 214, 215, and sold up as I was having this candle that was starting to top. I was just looking to sell once it broke that top, which is up here at the 240 area. Again, that was a nice 12 or 11% return, which is really good, a lot better than any bank's going to give you. And then we started having this wedge pattern form. So a wedge is when you started having higher lows and lower highs. Then whenever it breaks out of its trend in any direction, you look for it to continue that way. In this case, if it was come up here with these red candles and then turned around and dropped below this line, that trend line, you'd be expecting it to relatively quickly fall back towards where it opened, around the 170s. However, it didn't. It broke out over the top section, came back down, and then had that uptrend until about 10:30. So on this second part here, actually I had my first trade there, sorry, and then as it came back down, I was buying here because I didn't want to buy too early, because I did in the other stock. I bought too early and lost a little bit, so I waited for it to have a nice solid pullback, which it did. Then I ended up buying here, and I was a little bit worried when it came back down below $2, but I held on. I was going to risk the open basically where it broke its resistance and started running, this $1.80 area. I was worried, however, once it dropped below $2, but luckily it had a quick bounce back up to that $2 level. It only went down there for a second, bounced straight back up. So I was like, that's showing there's a good support there. And then slowly it started having this little consolidation, and then it broke out with this green candle. I sold 100 shares just in this consolidation because I wanted to reduce my size. I had 500 shares. I think I'm pretty sure I meant to actually sell it all, but I forgot I had 500 shares. Or no, I didn't realize I'd only put in my order for selling 100 shares. I thought I had the order for selling 500 shares. But anyhow, it was lucky I did do that stuff up, because I sold the 100 shares around here, and then after that I saw my profits going up. I was like, why is my profit going up? I didn't realize I still had shares in it. So yeah, once I had this green candle here, I sold up at 218. Then it was, like I said, it was starting to show this uptrend, and it had this wedge pattern. Once it broke out of this wedge pattern and this little resistance point here, where it hit there and hit there, once it broke that, I was buying. Now I don't normally buy the breakouts. I haven't bought breakouts in a long time. I normally watch them break out and I just don't get involved. Then I normally wait for a pullback, and that's when I enter. This one I was buying as it was breaking out, and I ended up buying, went up 5-6 cents, but in a matter of 2 seconds, and then it sharply fell back down, and I ended up stopping out around here, the 214 area. It was a really quick move up and back down, and I didn't really get a chance to get out and take the profit there, because like I said, it was so quick. But then straight away after this red candle, and I saw all the buyers coming in and the long wick at the bottom of the candle again, I was looking to buy straight away, because I was like, I probably shouldn't have sold out then. I was being disciplined by selling, but every minute the idea of whether you should buy or sell will change depending on how well the market's reacting. And I saw the buyers start flooding in again after it had these two big red candles, so I bought basically straight away. Sold 215 area, came back down to 2.8. Once it started coming up past 215, 216, 217, I bought it, and I bought that and I rode it back up to sort of where this other high was. Sold it around the 230, 235 level, and that was it. And then I was watching, because I was expecting this to come back down at this point, and there were no shares to short. So but yeah, that were my trades for the day. Like I said, yeah, did pretty well. Been very consistent. I think that's my 7th or 8th trading day in a row now. So green trading day in a row. So really enjoying the consistency. It has been a long journey. I've been doing this now for, well, this particular strategy, I've been doing it for about 8-9 months now. So it does take a lot of work, does take a lot of commitment. There's no, jumping on for half an hour and trading a day and that's it. The amount of study and work you put in every day that you don't see behind the scenes, that's what's making myself start becoming more consistently profitable. And yeah, the goal is to just keep improving, keep having the green days. We're not having massive days yet, just 150, 200, maybe $300 days. Still have some losses here and there, not in a while, but fingers crossed. But yeah, you continue with the green days and just remain consistent, and then once you can grow a small account from a few thousand to maybe tens of thousands, then you can start sizing up, because you've proven that you can profit out of the market, and then that's when you can start really going after those $500,000 days, which we will get to. I'm 100% sure we will get to that in the future sometime, because I've put in the work and I've put in the effort, and you all can do the same thing. You know, I'm not special. You can all put in work, put in effort, and make this a reality. But yeah, like I said, it's not for the faint-hearted. It's not for people that aren't willing to risk a little bit of money, and it's not for those who aren't willing to study. Because if you're not willing to study, you won't be able to do it, and you'll just lose way too much money. And yeah, thanks very much for watching. Like I said, follow me on Instagram. I sometimes do live stories while the markets are moving, and that is JLOWE4 for my Instagram. I also have a Facebook page, Justin Lowe Stocks. You can like and follow that page if you want. And yeah, follow my YouTube channel, like and subscribe. Leave any comments in the comment section if you have any questions or want me to do any particular video talking about a particular topic related to stocks, and I'll look at getting it done for you. So thanks very much for watching, really appreciate it. Hopefully we have a good green day tomorrow as well. Continue this trend of profits, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good day.